Good morning, you guys, and a happy Wednesday morning to you. I hope everybody's doing well. We have several things to cover, just one video today, okay? So let's just jump in and get there, shall we? Let's go. I'm going to start off with a comment that one of my subscribers put, which basically sums up what I was doing. Very astute. Part 1 and Part 2 yesterday. Part 1 was family togetherness, public goodwill, and then Part 2 was self-absorption and lack of loved ones, salaried employees. Perfect. And also, this subscriber of mine pointed out when I, talked about the charity that Meghan likes to go public with charities where Arch will donate small amounts, but the big donations she doesn't speak about because those are the ones that have to do with silencing free speech. Excellent observation. Let's move on. Okay, we're going to start with William, and I just wanted to touch on this article because they're talking about when William went to watch Aston Villa and he was wearing the colors and he jumped to his feet to celebrate their win, which by the way was the first in European competition for more than a decade. Everybody was like, that is William. That is a proper fan. You dress in the colors. You do your bit. Fabulous. For those of you who are unaware, they're saying that Prince William is an absolute fanatic and he's been to their training ground. That's right. He is such a fanatic. He attends training sessions as well as actual games. And this picture above that you're looking at was put out as soon as Princess Charlotte was born. I love that. All right, moving on. Next up, let's talk about the King's speech really quickly. For those of you who don't know, it's being reported that it was watched by 7.48 million people. Don't tell me that this man is not popular. Obviously he is. And I just love him. He's just so nice. But what they're saying now in these articles is that he was absolutely right to ignore Harry and Meghan in his Christmas speech. I mean, what he did essentially with the pictures, but not naming them per se, is he shows the royals and their tireless devotion to the crown. Why in the world would he want to show pictures of people who begrudge the king, who treat the monarchy horribly, who have plunged the royal family into PR nightmares? I mean, why would he bother? I think he did absolutely the right thing. All right, next up, let's switch gears a little bit. Remember, during the King's speech, they had this fabulous choir, and there was a harpist and a flutist. It was beautifully done. One of the children there is 7 years old. She's blind. She has a brain tumor. Her name is Olivia Taylor. According to this article, she's been on chemotherapy most of her life. She was diagnosed at 17 months. So Camilla had her over to the White Drawing Room at Windsor Castle after the Queen had learned about her during the singing of the Christmas broadcast. Now, she did some pretty cool things. First of all, she stood up and sang Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Then she had what they're saying is her first proper cup of tea. And so the little girl's drinking the tea and she goes, "Ooh, I love that." And the Queen says, "Well, there you go. You can have tea from now on." She brought her favorite teddy bear named Corey, who was given a seat of his own at the table. She apparently is very attached to this animal. It goes with her to all of her hospital appointments and all of this stuff. Olivia gave Queen Camilla a purple ring that she made herself, which she then put on. I think that's sweet. Now, she also handed her a bag of presents. There was a corgi teddy in there, some chocolate chip shortbread, corgi socks, a pencil with a crown on it, a corgi Christmas tree decoration, and of course, chocolate coins. Ooh, I love those. Being blind, she has to touch things. So at some point, they took her into a room and they let her touch replicas of the coronation orb and the scepter. How sweet is that? They also let her try on the Queen's crown and let her touch, things that represent the robe that she was wearing. I just think that's lovely. Wonderful. Now, don't worry. The whole family was there and the little sister got the exact same presents. All right, moving on. Next up, we have Rishi Sunak, who did a quote-unquote Home Alone at Christmas at number 10. And this was one of the funniest skits I've ever seen. Obviously, I can only show you in pictures. because of copyright, but watch this.
Am I the only one here? Number 10 press office. Harry, you've got the wrong number.
Now it's coming out that this was a roast against Harry. Duh. Because remember, Harry made sure to tell everybody that he was going to phone King Charles on Christmas in an attempt to mend ties. And he put out feelers that he and Meghan would be open to an invitation for Christmas, because this was the largest ever guest list seen at Sandringham in more than, who knows. And Fergie was even there. Now, of course, People magazine, that is so pro-Sussex, it's a joke, I don't buy their stuff anymore, is claiming that it really wasn't about Harry. Yeah, I'm sure. Come on, guys, let's get real. All right, now let's continue. We all knew that the memes were going to start, right? And Twitter did not let me down. I would love to give credit to every single person who created these, but there were so many. So thank you to everybody. Watch these. Next up, Remoulade Sauce happened to notice something that I didn't see, but some of you guys noticed, that most of the family was wearing the exact same scarf. I don't know why I didn't see it, and this subscriber of mine even saw it. Well, here you go, guys. So it looks like what King Charles did is he gifted multiple people in his family the Highgrove Heritage scarf. It's 115 pounds. And according to the article, it's available due to a collaboration between the King's Gloucestershire Estate, the Princess Foundation, and the Johnsons of Elgin. And all these family members decided that they were going to wear this scarf on their walk to Christmas, to the service in Sandringham. So here's Princess Anne and her husband Tim wearing their scarves. This person that you're looking at is Samuel Chatto. He is Princess Margaret's grandson. He's also wearing the scarf. This gentleman in the beige jacket, also wearing the scarf, is the Earl of Snowdon. And we also saw Lady Louise wearing it. I'm going to have to see if I can get myself one. All right, moving on. All right, I just had to touch on this article before we go to our big stories, because it talks about Christmas at Harry and Meghan's, that they have sustainable stockings, that there are no early morning emails to her staff, that cards from Jay-Z and the Beckhams have been lost in transit, that Harry laid out the table, that instead of turkey, they're having chicken that came from their own chicken coop. Instead of placemats, they're using the excess copies of The Bench because, after all, it's a recycling hack. Don't mention Spotify, don't mention the coronation, and don't mention the car chases. They're saying that Auntie Oprah slides into the mix because she isn't seated out in the cold despite rumors. Omid is going to be the court jester, and here comes Doria and Tyler Perry in a Hertz electric car rental. They're pointing out that the Christmas tree came from a private jet offsetting forest. For Harry, from Meghan is some Elizabeth Arden cream and a new necklace. We know his last one broke. And for Meghan, from Harry, a tennis bracelet of shimmering blood diamonds. And for the children, a tough lesson that good things come to those who wait. Marry rich or star briefly on Deal or No Deal. Harry and Meghan then draw up their naughty list. The evil media, the entire British public, remember they're colonizers, Bill Simmons, who called them grifters, and Disney, who won't give Meghan a well-earned lead role. And for the next 12 months, they're looking for being begged for content, lifestyle guidance, therapy advice, and thoughts on how to live in truth. All that's left is toast to success, wealth, celebrity friends, humility, and freedom. Sometimes you're so happy it hurts. Spot on. Moving on. Moving on to our last story of the day. These kinds of stories really kill me because it's not like Harry has a ton of friends that he can afford to just throw people out. But what's being written is that the Crown's Dominic West has apparently had a fallout with Prince Harry, and he said the reason that they no longer talk is because he once said, quote, too much at a press conference. He plays King Charles III, or he did, on The Crown on Netflix. Well, apparently, they both took part in that charity event, Walking with the Wounded, in 2013. And they went through Antarctica with the injured military personnel. Well, then he did an interview on Sunday morning on Times Radio, and he spoke about how he and Harry have fallen out. He said, I said too much in a press conference, and it went from there. And when pressed, he said, I asked about what we did and what we did to celebrate when we got to Antarctica, and I probably said too much. Apparently, the whole thing was Mr. West said that they toasted their victory after Antarctica by drinking champagne from one of the prosthetic legs of one of their co-adventurers. And he said Harry threw a fit. I'm not going to do the whole thing. He accused this guy of invading his privacy, and Dominic told him, don't be ridiculous, and they haven't spoken since. This interview took place, by the way, in 2014. But of course, there's more to the story. So after they completed the 208-mile trek, apparently 2 of the Australian guys stripped naked, ran around the pole. Harry did not do that, which I find interesting. Instead, he just went there claiming on a 2-day bender with the Icelandic truck drivers who had brought some, alcohol with them. There was a lot of liquor drunk then, as well as the champagne. And as soon as that came out, that's what Harry got upset about, that he was running around and, drunk. Please keep in mind, we all knew that Harry had a drinking problem. Well, it was behind the scenes that Harry had a drinking problem, but it hadn't yet come out about his drug and alcohol abuse. He was probably trying to keep it under wraps, and that's why he was so upset. Now, this guy West also complimented Harry, saying that he was the best at building latrines. Okay, yeah, all right, well, good for him. And this is where I agree with this subscriber on Twitter. It's fine for Bunker Harry to spill whatever he wants to spill, but if you dare say anything about him, yeah. And I agree with according to Taz, he is a hypocrite of the highest order because he can insult and ridicule people and put out personally deep things and secrets about others, but he doesn't care about the damage it causes them, but talk about him. Finally, I want to touch on this last article that came up. Remember, I told you guys they're trying to change the narrative. Well, now articles are coming out saying Harry was actually very angry at Meghan when she did that fake bow thing with the Queen. Remember, this was all taped while the Queen was alive. They expected the Queen to see this. And so she does the bow. Harry's sitting there. And then she stands up and he's smiling. And she looks over at him when she's done. And Harry doesn't look the least bit bothered to me. Sorry, guys. He's smiling there. He knew about this. And I hate to point this out, but he and Meghan had full editorial control over this Netflix docuseries. Remember, Archewell was part of the producer. If he didn't like this, he could have removed it. He was not red with anger. He was wholeheartedly in on this thing. Absolutely. All right, you guys, just a reminder, my Patreon is listed in the description box. I'm going to start... There won't be a video on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. So on Tuesday, the Patreon will start, which will be on the 2nd. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday is YouTube. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday is Patreon. Don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe button. If you've already subscribed, double check. Make sure you are still subscribed. If you've donated to my coffee fund, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.